And one of the dominant ideas, in the book Between the World and Me, which is, effectively an extended essay, told in a letter form to my son, is the notion of fear. Because I think when people think about African American communities, there are a lot of things that come to mind, but one of the things that does not come to mind, I think, enough in the mainstream conversation is simply how afraid we are for our bodies, how afraid we are for our children, how afraid we are for our loved ones on a daily basis. And I understood this as a very, very young person as I talk about it in the book. From my earliest memories, I was talking to Dad about this a little while ago, and I think about my first memories my first coherent memories of going with my mother and father to see Marshal Eddie Conway in prison. And understanding that black men, are in prison. That was like my first memory. He had done something, or somebody accused him of something. Something had happened where he did not have the full freedom and control of his body. And that was something that happened to people who looked like me, even if I didn't quite understand how and why that happened. And then as you grow up in the community and you have to, go out into the world and, navigate. I've said this several times in many places. I have, my memories of going to middle school here in Baltimore, and I think about how much of my mental space was possessed with keeping my body safe. How much of it dealt with how I was dressed, who I was walking with, what neighborhood I was walking through once I got to school, how I conducted myself, in the school, and not so much, in such a way that would be obedient to my teachers, but in a way that would keep me safe from the amount of violence. I was talking in this interview the other day, I was saying that any sort of policy that you think about in this country that has to do with race ultimately comes back for black folks to securing our bodies, the physical safety of our bodies. So we have these kind of high and abstract debates about, affirmative action. And in the minds of certain people, we think those conversations are literally, just about, is my kid going to get into Harvard or not? But behind that, for us as black people, is a conversation of, is my kid gonna be able to have the means to live in a neighborhood where he or she walks outside the house and they're not looking over their shoulder, and they're not watching their back, and they don't have to do the sort of things that I have to do. The threat of violence is always there.